The North Carolina Central Eagles is an HBCU program that did not have a ton of historical success until the turn of the century, but has quickly become a program many fans should know about. While their transition from the Division II level to the FCS level has caused some growing pains at first, after over a decade in the MEAC, they have built their program into one of the best at the FCS level under Trey Oliver. This is the rise of North Carolina Central football, a video that's been highly requested over the past few weeks. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who you want me to talk about next in the comment section below. North Carolina Central football began over 102 years ago in 1922. They joined the NAIA ranks in 1955, a year after they were named the Black College National Co-Champions under Herman Riddick. And throughout the 50s and 60s, the program would find a lot of success. But as the 90s came to a close and the calendar turned to the 2000s, the program was in a bad place. From 1998 to 2002, the program fluctuated, going anywhere from 4-6 to 6-4, and never being able to find a ton of success as a Division II program. The school could only afford to give the football team 26 of the 36 allotted scholarships a Division II school receives, and there were no practice shirts, and players wore whatever they had in their closet. Then came the arrival of Rod Broadway. Now, Rod Broadway deserves a video all by itself to talk about how influential of a person he was throughout his career. He played college football at North Carolina, and after the NFL did not work out, he would decide to go into the coaching rankings, starting his career as a defensive line coach at East Carolina, before making stops at Duke, Florida, and North Carolina, serving as the same role. While with Florida, he coached under Steve Spurrier and helped the Gators win the 1996 national title. Broadway had his work cut out for him, speaking on the practice uniform situation, saying, "Duke, North Carolina, whatever. We look like the bingo long traveling all-stars out there. It was tough because you're used to having everything you want when you want it. We didn't have the basic needs. We had to change the culture. They were better than they were being given credit for. They worked as hard as they do at North Carolina or Florida, but they had to believe they could win." Even before he left North Carolina, Broadway had always had his eye on working at North Carolina Central. The Eagles had only been to the Division II playoffs once in school history in 1988, so it was going to be a challenge to turn things around. In his first season as head coach, the Eagles would finish the year 4-6 and 5th in the Central Intercollegiate Athletic Association. In 2004, Broadway had to take a step back from the team as his wife was dealing with health problems that she would eventually succumb to right before the start of the season. His assistants, headlined by former Florida coach Rich McGeorge, helped Broadway through his grief and helped the team finish 8-2, finishing tied for first for the division. 2005 would start a magical run for North Carolina Central as they would win 10 games for the first time in school history and made it to the second round of the Division II playoffs to finish the year 10-2 and won the Black College National Championship. 2006 would be much the same, as this time they would go undefeated in conference play and once again make it to the second round of the Division II playoffs, finishing the year 11-1 and winning their second straight Black National Championship. Following the season, Broadway would leave North Carolina Central to take the Grambling State job to replace the storied footsteps of Coach Eddie Robinson. The man chosen to replace Broadway would be Moses Risen. Risen was originally from Flint, Michigan, and played at Central Michigan, where he rushed for nearly 3,000 yards. He made coaching stops at Central Michigan, Navy, Rutgers, Stanford, the New York Jets, Arizona, Livingston, and Davidson before arriving at NCCU, serving as Broadway's offensive coordinator in 2006. Following their school record-setting season in 2006, the Eagles would fall to 6-4 in 2007. They followed that up with back-to-back 4-7 seasons in 2008 and 2009, and it looked like the program was going in the wrong direction. After a 2-4 start in 2010, Risen was relieved of his duties as head coach. Risen finished his Eagles career with a 16-22 record and was given a tough task of helping the Eagles transition from Division II to Division I, a decision made back in 2005. The man chosen as North Carolina Central's next head coach would be Henry Frazier III. Frazier played quarterback at Bowie State and started his coaching career there. After a stint at Central High School in Maryland, he returned to Bowie State, serving as their head coach and leading them to a 26-24 record. In 2004, he was named the head coach of Prairie View A&M, where he turned the program around from a 3-8 start in his first season to back-to-back 9-1 finishes in 2008 and 2009, followed by a 7-4 season in 2010. Prior to his arrival in Texas, the Panthers experienced the nation's longest losing streak from 1989 to 1998, dropping 80 contests in a row, and struggled through back-to-back 1-10 seasons in 2002 and 2003. He developed a reputation as a program rebuilder and seemed like the perfect hire at the time. Things would not work out for Frazier though, as North Carolina Central continued to struggle at the Division I level in his first season, going 2-9. The program seemingly got back on track in 2012, finishing with a 6-5 record. Then, right before the start of the 2013 season, Frazier was relieved of his duties as head coach after a domestic dispute. Dwayne Foster was named the interim head coach, and the Eagles finished the season with a 5-7 record. Jerry Mack would be named North Carolina Central's next head coach at the age of 33. He played football at both Jackson State and Arkansas State, before spending time at Delta State, Jackson State, Central Arkansas, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Memphis, and South Alabama as an assistant coach, helping multiple schools increase their offensive productions throughout his young career. While at Arkansas Pine Bluff, he helped turn around the offense from the 101st in the nation to 30th in the nation, and was a young upstart head coach looking to leave his mark on a program. He would build on the foundation left by Frazier, quickly finding success at a program that, up to that point, was struggling at the FCS level. He led the Eagles to a share of the conference title in his first 2 seasons as head coach, with a 7-5 record in 2014 and an 8-3 record in 2015, or leading the Eagles to one of their best records since the departure of Broadway in 2016. North Carolina Central would go undefeated in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference in 2016, where they won their first outright conference title since 2006 and a berth in the Celebration Bowl. North Carolina Central University would lose in a heartbreaker to Grambling State and finished 9-3. Mack would leave a legacy at the school, although 2 of their conference titles would be vacated due to APR violations, and led the Eagles to a 7-4 record in 2017. The program was finally back on track, finding the same type of success Broadway had found when he was head coach. But due to being a young and upcoming coach with FBS experience, Mack had multiple opportunities to return to the FBS level, choosing to leave the Eagles to become the offense coordinator at Rice. He spoke on his departure to the HBCU game day, saying, "I think the program is in a great place. It's set up for success, and I think this was a great time to leave. I think it's in a better situation than we found it. That's my job, and I hope I pleased people by doing what they hired me to do. And I see nothing but success from here for that program." North Carolina Central University struggled after Mack's departure, finishing 5-6 and 4-8 in 2 seasons. The program was placed on probation after self-reporting APR violations that included multiple sports due to clerical error, and spent a year with an interim coach, but eventually hired alum Trey Oliver in 2019. Oliver was a defensive back for the Eagles in the late 90s and hoped to continue the success Mack found at North Carolina Central. Oliver wanted to find success at his alma mater, and while his team would not field a squad in 2020, they bounced back in 2021 with a 6-5 record and a 4-1 record in conference play. Oliver keeps a photo of himself as a player at NCCU and his headshot as a coach on his desk to remind him of his roots. North Carolina Central was where his parents attended and is a school he believed he owed a lot of his success to. He told Mia Berry from Ann Skate back in 2022, "I didn't want to go to Central because my parents went here. I wanted to do my own thing, and they always talked about Central, and I'm like, man, I'm not going there. When I came in 93, I fell in love. I came back in 94 for my official visit. It was an event, and it was something special." Oliver also learned under Broadway at North Carolina Central, Grambling State, and North Carolina A&T, matured as a coach under his former mentor. He went on to explain, "Broadway taught me so much as far as being a professional, handling my business, and there was a standard with how we were going to do things." Or Alabama coach Nick Saban was screaming about standard. I think the first person I heard that from was Coach Broadway. From the support staff to the coaches to the players, he held everyone to such a high level, and he always said, "It's not okay to just do your job. You must do your job well." After getting turned down by Central in 2014 for not having the defensive or offensive coordinator experience, he would become the Southern defensive coordinator and help them earn a spot in the SWAC championship game. Oliver would lead the Eagles to a 10-2 record and to the Black National Championship in 2022, and last year they would go 9-3 and lost in the first round of the FCS playoffs. Heading into the 2024 season, Oliver has the Eagles program on the verge of becoming a juggernaut in the MEAC, as they were just selected to finish first in the preseason polls earlier this week. The Eagles received 110 points and 4 first-place votes to earn projected top honors. Howard University was picked second, receiving 4 first-place votes with 92 points. North Carolina Central was a team that was consistently requested for me to do a video on over the past few weeks, and are a team FCS fans should keep an eye on heading into the season. What do you think? Who wins the Celebration Bowl this year? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.